I'd like to call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order. I'd like to begin with an invocation led by Fourth Ward Commissioner Harrelson, and to follow with the Pledge of Allegiance led by City Manager.
Lord, we thank you for your loving kindness. We thank you for your tender mercy. Bless each and every one that's here on tonight. Let the community be a blessing. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yield to the Deputy Clerk.
Commissioner Adams.
Present.
Commissioner Harrelson.
Present.
Commissioner Henderson. Here. Commissioner Henry. Commissioner Isa.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Present.
Commissioner Singleton.
Present.
Mayor Muhammad.
Present. This brings us to the regular minutes of September 3, 2019. Is there a motion for the approval of the regular minutes? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Isa.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Is there a motion for the approval of accounts payable listing? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams,
Support.
and it is supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Discussion?
No discussion.
Commissioner Adams.
Question. Lately I've been seeing, and I guess I just want to know what type of escrow are we paying out? I thought when something was in an escrow that it's like in an account. I'm on one of two down at 71,564. Had the same question last month, same amount. Different name.
The chair recognizes the city manager.
Mr. Mayor, check that one out and get the word back to the community.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Again, from last month to this for last accounts payable with this one. Want to know how much we're spending in telecommunications. Right now, it looks like we're spending an exorbitant amount of money. I know we cut down, we said that we were only paying $5,000 a month to one company. But now, as you look, see, you're paying that Ring Central, which was not supposed to be that much. Ring Central keeps getting about $4,000 every time we have a line item. And all of a sudden now we see on Seeking Technologies, $9,072 for what it looks like every month we're spending about $20,000 or a little bit more than that on telecom. Just kind of want to get a ring on that. And hopefully, city manager or through the chair can give us a year to date on how much we spend on telecommunications. Because I think that the last presentation said that we're gonna save money. We're doing just the math for the last few months. Look like we're spending more money. Also on the building official. I see that him more than a couple times on here that we're paying him, building official, which we had talked about that. Is it more to keep that outhouse or to bring that in-house? Because he's having about $10,000 a month too. So thank you, Honorable Mayor. Hopefully, we can get that back. And I know the city manager will say you get that back to me. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the city manager.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna get that back to you and to all the commissioners.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. Just listening to my colleague, there were some other questions and we've addressed them in times past. And I'm going to be patient with, our new interim city manager because a lot of the questions that he just brought up, these items have been in place since our previous city manager. I think that we need to actually start thinking long-term as, how we will also handle the grass cutting. We seem to be spending well over $100,000 yearly. If we can take a look at that as well.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, again, I would ask a question, on, I'm not gonna call the name or anything, but I will ask you to look at 71526. I would ask, why are we still paying as a contractor if this is an employee? This is one of the only employees I see the name continues to be on this list for the amount that we're paying. Is this an employee or is this a contractor? That has never have been answered. Hopefully we can get an answer within the next 30 days, whether this is an employee or this is a contractor. Because I don't think it's unfortunate for us to put our employees' pay, if it's true that this is an employee, pay to make it part of general fund checking. And if not, then we need to go back to the resolution that was passed to make that the commission's employee. We never hired a contractor, we hired an employee. And hopefully we can get that corrected before the year end. Thank you.
I do have a, chair recognizes city manager.
Mr. Mayor, I'll check on that and get the response back to you.
Yes, I'm looking at item 112, 913, 2019. Pension contribution, $15,621, $56,575, $575, $6,462, $2,349, $31,461, to the total of $112,468. Is that our annual, or can you speak to that, Mr. Manager?
Can't speak to it right now, but I'm going to do research and get it to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, sir. While we're on our finances, can I ask the question and get a possible answer as to, have we actually, do we actually have an RFP for finance director?
Chair recognizes City Manager.
No, you do not have the RFP yet. And I want to talk with you before we do that. I want to talk to you as a commissioner.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to our citizens' comments. Recognize each speaker for 3 minutes. We don't see them here at this time, so we'll move on.
Tammy Miller,
Hi, hello, I'm Tammy Miller. I'm the Deputy Director and Curator for the Krasel Art Center. And as some of you may recall, I was here a little over a year ago to talk about a sculpture that was placed publicly. And at that time, I said I would come back and let you know when we were starting to brainstorm and plan for public sculpture for the summer of 2020. So I just wanted to come tonight and let you know that we are going to start a focus group starting this month. And it's going to run through the end of the calendar year, so September through December. And we are inviting people from the community to come to that focus group. Because as we do our work at the Krasel and we talk about public art, there's a lot of opinions out there. There's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of prospects out there. And we want to get all the voices at the same table because we think it's just not efficient for us to all be working on separate pages and in our boxes, right? So we want to invite you to come together to these meetings. You are all invited. And if you know others who you think should be at the table, we would like you to bring them with as well. So the first meeting that we will have at the Krasel Art Center will be Thursday, September 26th at 5 p.m. You are, like I said, you're all invited. We're at 707 Wood Boulevard. This is our first meeting, and at that time, we really just want to get different people together from the two cities to talk about what they're working on, what ideas they've had in the past that they want to share. If they know artists from their communities that they think should be involved with these projects, it's really an open dialogue. It's going to include Krasel staff, it's going to include local developers, it's going to include city representatives, and people from our tourist councils and various organizations. So please join us if you are available Thursday, September 26th at 5 p.m. My email is on the citizens list. If you'd like more information, I'm happy to email it to you directly. And I will keep you abreast of the upcoming meetings as we go along. We will meet through the end of the year. Like I said, we're just sharing information at this time, seeing if we can coordinate some efforts. And then in January, I will come back to you at this meeting, and I will let you know sort of where we're going next. So we will be planning some public art projects for the summer of 2020, and we're always looking at future projects as well. So I hope you will join us. And I do want to say, I'm sorry I have to run after I make this presentation, but I want to thank the City of Benton Harbor for the many ways that you have supported the Krasel Art Center and the projects that we've been doing there. So we do sincerely appreciate your support and your participation. So join us at the table if you're available. Email me. I'm happy to dialogue with you further.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yeah, Mayor, with all due respect, I would ask that you never bring that naked slave girl back to Benton Harbor. The black girl who's naked, the one that's standing up there.
The figure of you.
Yeah, but.
We've already resolved that issue, and I
Well,
understand that. And
I would ask that you come before the city commission before you present a naked black woman that nobody knew any history of in downtown Benton Harbor. I think that it behooves us that we do something that's suitable. I mean, why not put a naked white woman up there? You know, why does she have to be black? I would ask that you bring it before the commission, let us approve it before you erect it within the city.
Can I just confirm that as we move forward with public art projects, would you like to approve them all in advance if they're in the city limits?
If they're naked, yes.
No. I'd like to see approval of anything that's being
Well,
put
any,
in that city.
there we go, any,
That's
there you
fine.
go,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you,
a process that we follow with others. We're happy to do that.
appreciate it. Honorable Mayor.
thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Jones.
This will be the last statement on this. SB quite aware of what we're speaking on. We're speaking on art, we're speaking on censorship. Think about our history as far as the city commission, the city itself. All right? Let's be careful what we saying. It behooves us, all right, to watch what we put censorship on. We've been censored before. So let's watch out what we're doing. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. I understood clearly what you just gave presentation on, and there's no better way than to be at the table.
Yes.
So if I'm praying that somebody within the community, some bodies can make themselves available so that we won't even have to go through all that decisions will be made at the table. And I guess just out of respect, I guess it should come to the commission and let us know what will be placed. Thank you.
We're happy to do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stephen Boone.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Council members, citizens. I just came before you to say good evening. I have just come to the city and I am moved here from Chicago to take care of my father. I've been coming here for 40 years. I have many family members here. Just hello, greetings, and I'm ready to help out as much as I can in any way that I can. Have a good evening. Thank you. I'm sorry?
Mr. Boone.
Yes, Stephen Boone, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Boone.
Of course.
Marvin Haywood.
Good evening to the commission. Earlier you spoke on escrow. She made a good comment because I had that on my paper because I was wondering about the taxes that was put in escrow by the judge when we asked about the city income tax and the people that was in the development area. They said that tax money would be put in escrow and to further notice, and have we got an update on the money that was put in escrow by Judge Wiley when they said that they didn't feel that they should pay the city income tax. Also, when it comes to inspections, there was a meeting on 8/13 where the inspector said that there was a lot of buildings that were given permits, and they had certain things that they had to get done prior to opening up a lot of the buildings in the downtown area, where they would have to go through every department to make sure that the things that were required were completed. And I was wondering if we have anybody that's in inspections that are doing follow-ups to make sure that everything is done according to the ordinance of the city of Benton Harbor. I say that in respect to the building there that's open up where the old, barber shop is, where their feeds, where their people getting fed outside the building. But if you look in the building, I don't think it would be edible for food and stuff to be prepared in, but that's just my thoughts. So I'm just trying to figure out if by chance there was some kind of inspection that's supposed to be done. Did he follow up on getting everything that was done? The guy that does inspection said there was a lot of line items that were not completed in the 8/13 meeting. Also, when we talk about the finance, I was wondering if there was a bulletin put out to get a new finance director. I know we had the last finance director, there was various issues. And I think if we bring that back in-house, we will be able to release Plant Moran, who's been serving the city for quite some time. Not sure if their whatever's been done is done in the best interest of the city, but we would like to look into that to try to bring somebody in-house. I think a lot of the positions that were outsourced a long time ago, the things that need to be done when it comes to various positions, especially in inspections. You have to have an inspections department because there's been a lot of development going on in the inner city of Benton Harbor where things are supposed to be kept up to code. And he brought this to the table on 8/13. He said there was a lot of stuff that was required that wasn't even followed up on, but yet still they opened up these buildings downtown. So we want to try to do a little follow-up on that. And hopefully as we move forward into the 21st century, we can make sure that things are more organized so that if there's any future development, we will hope that the tax money is acquired upfront and not on the back end, as we move forward. So just a few of my thoughts. And hopefully we can continue to do a good job. We can keep our eye on the ball. We can continue to move the city forward in a positive direction. Thank you.
Yes, just for clarity, this is outside of the usual, the lawsuit that was filed against the city of Benton Harbor relative to the city income tax. Judge Wiley, the lower court ruled in favor of the city of Benton Harbor and the city of St. Joseph. However, there was an appeal. So given that there was an appeal, then the money remains in escrow.
Okay.
But we can get you a amount in total, which is still part of the total collection. We've collected over $2.5 million, and those figures are included in that number. However, until it's untangled in the court system, then it will remain there. But the lower court ruled in our favor.
Emma Kennard.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to bring up a matter that has given me great concern about the brownfield, which I'm on the brownfield. And since I've been there, there's been very few meetings, and they said, well, they don't have anything on the agenda. And I know that we did have an issue that was on the agenda with the last meeting. So I want to know from you all, can you get something moving on the brownfield where we would be consistent in having meetings? Because when there's a large gap, too many things go unaddressed, and it's put our city in a harm's way, and things later on coming up about certain issues. So I think that you all should ask, why aren't we having meetings? Because there was certainly, if you go back and check the last meeting, there was something on the agenda to be addressed. Also, I'd like to invite all of you all to 275 Pipestone. We will be having a grand opening. We've been open for a while, but we're having a grand opening. We want you to see the beautiful things that is in place for our building. That's the Fresh Start Children's Garden headquarters. But also we're having a fashion show. One of the ladies from the mall is now getting the girls all dressed up to shine for the fashion show. And we plan to have a great time. The hours is from 1 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday, which is the 21st. So hope you all will come out and be happy for us, what we got going. There's many things that I haven't even brought up that we're going forward. So many times people try to knock down issues that you might see and want to put in place. But I think that what we're putting in place, we're thinking in consideration of our children. I would love for it to have our children in the afternoon, to have the retired teachers to work with those children, help them get their homework and be ready for the next day, and also be fed, and then they can go home and be prepared for the next day. We just want to help, not take over. We want to help our schools to shine. Thank you.
Thank you.
The city manager wants to respond.
Ms. Kennard, regarding the brownfield, that's one of my questions, and I hope to be able to get that answer this week or
Okay.
next week.
Okay,
Next on my hit list.
thank you.
As far as the inspections are concerned, I moved the inspection department from under the police department to report directly to me. So things are getting better in the inspections too.
Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to a very special group that will be representing the city of Benton Harbor, Paris, for the Paris Fashion Week. We have a student at Benton Harbor High School, which will be representing the city of Benton Harbor, her high school, her family, as a model. And we have a local business owner who is started here on Wall Street. Now her business is on Main Street. She will be working with a group out of Los Angeles via Chicago. They will be accompanying and going together to participate in the Fashion Week. So I thought it would be something of notable esteem to have the Benton Harbor representatives along with the person they're working with, Mrs. Carmen Abdullah Muhammad, to be presented to the community, to the city council, so you will know who is representing you internationally. So the floor is yours.
Well, I don't need the microphone. First, I want to thank you.
Could you please, because it's being recorded.
Okay. First, I want to. Hello. Thank you. I'm going to rush through this. First, I want to thank God for this wonderful opportunity to come here and to be among such a wonderful group of people. This is my third visit to Benton Harbor, and I want to say that I am thoroughly impressed with this city. I'm impressed with the potential that is in this city. This is a great place. Normally I'm driving to Detroit and I see the sign Benton Harbor. And honestly, I get off to get gas and to get something to drink. And you never think about venturing into the city and seeing what the city is really about. So I'm very uplifted when I come here and I see what I see. And I'm so excited. My name is Carmen Muhammad. I represent Alisa Designs. This is probably my 6th or 7th appearance internationally overseas. What my goal and my mission is as a designer is to focus in on talent that is within these communities and bring them into these unclaimed spaces that we often don't get an opportunity to be a part of. So I am so excited to be taking 2 of your very own to Fashion Week with me. And I mean, we have to applaud these young folks because they are phenomenal. And we're talking where they're going, these runways have been dedicated to the Pradas and the Guccis and the Louis Vuitton. But guess what? Guess who's coming to dinner? Alisa Designs and the talented people here in Benton Harbor. So I'm just honored and they're honored. And I just came out with a new line of streetwear and it's dedicated to young people. She's wearing it tonight and we're repping Benton Harbor all the way in Paris. So when they see us, they're gonna know who we represent and what we're there for. So I'm just thoroughly excited. I want you to get excited because see, this is not something that happens every day. These runways are dedicated to those Gucci's, those Pradas, all of those folks with millions and billions of dollars. But guess what? We are about to go there and we are going to rip the runway with our young fabulous model who is 17 years old, a student of Benton Harbor. So now we can talk about international student programs where maybe some of these students will come and visit you all, and then some of your students can go there and do international studies. We have a designer that is so talented, should have been on TV, but after she does her thing in Paris, I guarantee you, with Alisa Designs, she's gonna be there. So again, thank you so much, and I'm honored. I thank God, and I pray that you all are very proud, because we're about to do something that is so monumental and so historically significant, because models, they don't get to come to Benton Harbor. They have to be a part of an L or a Wilhelmina, but no, not this time. They're coming, and she's gonna be representing your city. So be proud. This is the Super Bowl of Fashion Week. We are going to rock that place. We are going to turn it upside down, and they're gonna be looking for Benton Harbor. They're gonna wanna know, man, it's Benton Harbor, because they coming, and they're gonna take the place up. And I'm gonna turn it over to Candace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mayor Marcus Muhammad. I really appreciate the invitation, and thank you all for having me. I am super excited to represent our city and also the state of Michigan and also the United States as one of the designers that Alisa is taking along to Paris. This is a lifelong dream for me. I've definitely been creative all my life, and I've utilized that in so many aspects. I went to school for fashion design, and afterwards I realized that the industry was a little bit unattainable because of my financial situation. So I decided to outlet my creativity by going into makeup artistry, into the cosmetics industry, and I spent majority of my career working for cosmetics brands as a district manager, as a store manager for a large brand called MAC, for a $2 million counter. And at some point, my life shifted. God had some things to happen that actually brought me back home to Michigan. And at that point in time, I was a little bit shocked about the overall situation and wasn't sure how I was going to proceed, being that there were not very many retailers left in the area. And coming back to the area actually led me to Cornerstone Alliance. And I spoke to them about a business plan that I had to offer a beauty bar, a place where women could get away and have a me moment, and have to offer couture design. And I've been in business now going on 4 years, and it's such a blessing to be here in the city of Benton Harbor. But I swear I would have never thought in a million years that here is where I would be discovered. And this words can't express how grateful I am. In addition to that, I am extremely grateful for the way that the community has been rallying behind me in support of my efforts for this particular event, and I definitely plan to slay. And I'm very, very excited for the opportunity to take Amicia with me. She's been one of my clients for several years now, and every time she comes through my doors, I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking up at her. Her legs are getting longer and longer. And the very first thing that I said is, you deserve to be on someone's runway. I've had an opportunity to work in the industry and work with several notable photographers. I have published work, and I've seen a lot of models, but she definitely has clear potential. And it's a blessing to be able to introduce her to Ms. Carmen, who was able to invite her along with us for this journey. And it's a blessing to be able to connect not only with other sisters from the community, but just to show that we have a unity, and also to be able to share the experience so that she can also inspire other young women in the community and let them know that anything is possible. It's about a dream, it's about opportunity, it's about staying focused on your goals, and that's what I've done, and I'm just super grateful. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations.
I just want to say that going to Paris is a dream, and becoming a model is one of my biggest dreams. And just to have the opportunity to go to Paris and model clothes, but Lisa is like amazing, and a dream that I could check off my list and I could just continue on and move forward. And to be representing Benton Harbor, Michigan, and Paris is the best blessing from God ever. I could just and just to say, I want to thank my mom just for making the opportunity happen, going to Paris. Like, she was just and I'm just going to make her proud from here on out to make this reason that she did this amazing.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
like, it's happening.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Amen.
Thank you, Mom.
Mother, could you
Yes,
come You would like to say anything?
I just would like to say thank you to Ms. Carmen and Candace, because she has been, I think it's almost like when she first seen my daughter, she was like, oh my God, you need to model, or oh my God, that was always her dream, and she was saying, we never in a million years, they just few weeks ago that we had the opportunity for her to go to Paris. She's not going to Georgia, she's not going to California, she's going to Paris to model for multiple designers.
Oh, yeah.
Not just one, she's modeling for 6, I think. And I'm just so blessed today to be able to help make that happen for her, you know.
And I'd like to say this, she is the only model of color in that show. So thank you, praise God, thank you, praise God, praise God, we're gonna rap in hard.
I'd like to thank women working together on these designs. Candace Caldwell, and stellar student Amicia, am I saying that correct?
Amisha.
Well, thank you. And we look forward to report back and enjoy. I have never been out of the country, only to Toronto, Canada. So going to Paris at 18 or 19, 17, I had, I never would have thought. So that's a great blessing. Yeah. So with that being said, if the council wants to weigh in or say anything before we move to the business.
Just a word of encouragement. I met Miss Caldwell. Carson's was one of my favorite spots. I almost had my debt paid with them, although they're no longer there. But it was a pleasure to meet you. Such a wonderful, breezy, cool spirit. And I'm not surprised. And it's very well deserved from someone with your spirit. Congratulations. Yes.
I'd like to just say 4 years. I remember going to your grand opening and all the young ladies that you had represented that day out there on Wall Street, and to move from Wall Street to Main Street and now into Paris. So congratulations.
Chair recognizes the Mayor Pro Tem.
The energy is so phenomenal that I feel in the room right now. Congratulations. Been knowing you for quite a few years. I think when we were coming up in high school to see what God is doing for everybody. And more than anything, just the fact that you never know what God is up to. When you raise a child and train them up, you never know what door will open. You never know what is possible. But one thing for sure, if you're faithful over a few things,
That's right.
God knows how to open a door to take you to the nations And one thing that I'm for sure of is that the scripture's right. When he said he'll make your name great in all the earth. So there's nothing wrong with just celebrating and giving honor, but it's a testament that if your ways please God, I'm not gonna go there, but you never know. And it's a testament to all the young people in Benton Harbor. You never know. An open door for one can be an open door for all. You never know. So, mother, congratulations.
Yes. Yes.
Testament of the ground. And I pray that all the young people might be watching on YouTube or watching, even in the room. Don't give up on your dream.
That's right.
Because you never know when God will bring it to pass. Thank you.
I want to break protocol and say, can we get an amen? Candace Caldwell's mother is here.
Yes, she is.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson, for bringing that to my attention. Would you like to share?
Yes. Yes. Come on, please.
It's just a blessing. I appreciate this opportunity.
Amen.
That you all are honoring me, or have invited my daughter. She's been selected. But as the pastor was saying, you know, it's all in his hands. And I did all that I could, as you said, raising her to do as she's supposed to do, and to have the spirit that she does have. So it's just a blessing, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm just so excited. This mother's child, daughter over here, sister over here, that God used. Like you said, he uses in different ways. So all you gotta do is be open. You know what I'm saying? Let him do this. I appreciate everyone that's on the board, the staff, each one of you. You are representing Benton Harbor. Keep up the good work. And, you know, I'm a resident. I ain't left yet. I'm still here, you know. But I appreciate it. It's just a blessed opportunity. I'm looking forward to this. She's been looking for parents.
Wow.
Here it is.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Since we still having church, the Bible also talks about, honor the parents.
Yes.
They, what I witnessed here, this young lady honored her mother. So I know she's gonna be successful.
Come on, come on.
She's gonna be successful because she's doing what it says. She got some good people around her. So this is just a success story that we witnessing here, and I'm looking forward to the greater things. So hats off to you, young lady. Keep it up. You're doing the right thing.
Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Harrelson.
As long as we're going to church tonight, I like to say, put God first in your life. And you'll be surprised where you go.
Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate all of you. And may God bless you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor. First, I want to say congratulations. It's a big step. We're going to Paris. Me and my wife, we watch that kind of stuff. So I just want to know. Now, I just want to ask this question. She know how to walk like models? Yeah. Now, this going to be televised? I'm sure it will.
I don't believe it. No, sir. Is it okay to speak?
I want to come to the
Oh, okay. Actually, it is not. What happens is this is a major, Paris is considered the capital of fashion. And I want to say this because I think people really don't understand. God called me to this 4 years ago. He took me to Italy. When I got on a plane, they had invited me to come and premiere. I didn't even have my hotel room. When I got off the plane and I did the show, I was the only designer to win the Louis Vuitton Brand Ambassador Award. And praise God. And I said, when God is doing something like this for me, you think I'm not gonna turn around
Right?
and come get my sister?
Yeah.
I'm looking for my sister. These shows, the reason that we're not always in them is because they start at $50,000.
Yeah.
By the time you get through preparing a collection, your fees, your travel, you have spent close to $80,000. This young lady right here and this young lady right here and their parents, they got behind them. They said, we want to see this happen. And I kicked the door in. And I said, oh no, I got some people I need you to see. Because it ain't just about me. It's about us as a team. We can do a lot more as a team than what we can do individually. So I'm so full because I'm hearing everybody give honor to God, and that's where it starts. That's where it starts. And we want our young people to know and to understand that when you are obedient to the will of God and to your parents, everything else shall fall in your favor. And I thank you so much. But we will get you the video. We will get you a video. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to conclude this part with a little scripture myself. Can any good come out of it?
Oh, yes.
And the answer is yes. So I'd like to move to our agenda items tonight. Business, they're called here for. There are any items that should be separated from the consent calendar? Chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Jones.
Adopt an ordinance amendment to Chapter 28, Parks and Recreation. Also adopt a resolution approving appointment to the Downtown Development Authority, Mr. Lang.
Are there any other items? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Adopt a resolution approving a moratorium on billboard signs, advertising signs, on signs. Appreciate that.
Hearing none, Madam Clerk,
Commissioner Harrell?
this is for the, is there a motion to approve the Jenna's Landing Memorial sign?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The first item that is not recognized on our consent calendar is to adopt a resolution, or excuse me, adopt an ordinance amendment to Chapter 28, Parks and Recreation. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion?
Just briefly with this resolution, this was brought to the legislative committee on last week. And what it is, it just authorizes us to open the parks longer than what it was originally scheduled to be open. So the park is supposed to close, I think, the 29th or the 30th. And so we were voting to extend that the beach opening until October. So that's what that resolution is. Closing it in October instead of September 30th.
And I'll read, says the City of Benton Harbor's Code of Ordinances was last codified in the early 1990s at the September 4, 2019 Legislative Committee meeting. It was proposed to amend Chapter 28, Section 2829 of the ordinance. The current section of the ordinance reads, Gene Clark Park and Beach shall be open daily to the general public from May 1st through September 30th. between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. From October 1 through April 30, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. All persons and vehicles in this area are to leave at closing times unless they have obtained a special use permit from the city clerk upon approval by the city manager. Otherwise, no person shall be in Gene Clark Park after closing hours. Any vehicle found to be in violation of this section may be towed at the owner's expense and or ticketed in accordance with appropriate city ordinances. The proposed amendment is as follows. Gene Clark Park and Beach shall be open daily to the general public from May 1 through October 31, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., and from October 1 through April 30, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. All persons and vehicles in this area are to leave at closing time unless they have obtained a special use permit from the city clerk upon approval by the city manager. Otherwise, no person shall be in Gene Clark Park after closing hours. Any vehicle found to be in violation of this section may be towed at the owner's expense and or ticketed in accordance with appropriate city ordinance. Chair recognizes Commissioner Jones.
My only problem with this is, all right, what it's being changed to, the dates are kind of off. So it's going from May 1st through October 31st, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and from October 1st through April 30th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
The discrepancy with the date. So if it's going to be extended to October 31st, you can't go from October 31st, then go back to October 1st to April 30th. So it should be what, November?
So an amendment would need to be made to address the oversight. Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. I think confused the times, the months. Because I think this came through committee once before, because the parks usually close after Labor Day, but we saw that there was still an opportunity to stay open and generate more cash, charging to get into the park and create a job longer period of time. Because as of now, it's open until the end of September, which is good. So I guess if we needed that ordinance changed, that's fine. But like, I mean, I'm reminded of a baby sister that used to holler. And I mean, holler to the point to where my mom had to put her in the car and take her for a long ride, and that's where they would go. And it would be late at night. And I think it was the waves of the water that put this kid to sleep. I don't know. I mean, only a strange person would be at the beach. Well, they're not strange though, don't get me wrong. But there's a reason for some people just taking I mean, but, oh, I don't know.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
Thank you. I love that. They got that on YouTube now. You get the waves and the sound. Just a point of clarity, the beach never closes if this ordinance is correct, because from October, which would be November 1st to April 30th, it'll still be open from the hours of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. My question becomes then, from October to, this says, and from October, which we're going to change and amend that to November 1st through April 30th, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. The question becomes, who's working at the gate to even collect money in the wintertime, if this is correct? Because it says from April, so it's going to be from November 1st through April 30th, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. All personnel vehicles are to leave at closing time. So are we specifying that the beach is going to be open all year round from November to April 30th? from the hours of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.? Or are we saying that after October 31st, we're closing the beach down for business hours?
Correct.
Because that's not saying this.
Right, so we just need to amend it to reflect, what you just stated, Mayor Pro Tem.
See, I really wasn't finished. Can we revisit a thing that we had a discussion of about once before?
I do want to recognize, Commissioner Henry, the third ward.
Thank you, Mayor. We talked about this years ago. It was all approved that we change the hours. And I see there's some other things that are been added to it this time, which is good. But it makes sense to me that the park is going to be closed in the winter, but we still have access to it. Now, I've looked, some young people from the community want to go out and do some winter sports, but we won't have any pay to go during those months of November through April. So it reads great to me that you don't be in the park after 8 o'clock in the winter. And I'm one of those strange ones that are in Jean Clark Park at 3, 4 in the morning. And so I'm one of those strange ones. So, but this does make sense to me, and I appreciate the extra resources that we're going to gain from being open, and also to let people know that our park is open.
Is there an amendment?
No.
Commissioner Adams?
I mean, I would like to see the beach utilized year round. And like Commissioner Henry just stated, she's out there at strange hours too. If in fact we can take a look at, and I mentioned this once before, putting an arm up, which would save some money. And if we had some youth jobs, we can put them to work doing some real work within the community. But getting an arm like St. Joe has, and the residents that have a free pass would have a card. And any outsider, they'd have to just make a purchase or use their credit card or what have you for the arm to go up. St. Joe has an arm.
Right.
Hey,
Well, I mean, I don't think
generate
that,
cash at the same time.
I do agree, with, our third ward commissioner. I think the language, other than the oversight with the dates, but I know that the beach and the deed, it should always be accessible. However, we do have to have some regulations, in place, for safety and protection, of those who, will use this great beach. So if there's an amendment that one of the council members would like to put forth, I think we can get support. Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I would suggest, as Commissioner Jones has suggested, just to clarify the date, to move it to November 1st through April 30th. Between those hours, I don't know if the timing is an issue. If commissioners out there at 4 in the morning, maybe we should move it to 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. I mean, what time do we, or should we just leave it? Because I think it's talking about more car access than walking access. So if you want to walk out there, you can do it at any time. Unless you get caught out there, and I'll go ahead with your pass up. 4 a.m., you know, really going in and doing some big stuff. But anyway, it says no person shall be in Jean Clark Park after closing hours. That becomes an issue.
Yeah.
It says no person shall be in Jean Clark Park after closing hours, which should we remove that, or Because if the city commissioner says she's out there at 4 in the morning and she get caught out there by the police, it's gonna be a problem, and especially if it's not been on police. Thank you.
So is that
I would say November 1st to April 30th. If there's some other amendment, should we say 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. regardless?
Yes.
It's dark in the winter at 8 o'clock.
Hey,
Well, just because you can't see the.
let's maintain,
I mean, the thing.
some decorum, please.
sorry, it was cold outside.
Yeah, I think the 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., I think that the timing is good.
We have photographers.
I mean, if somebody wants to be out there extra 2 hours, I think we need to put something in place, so I don't object if there is a desire to extend the time. So is the amendment, Mayor Pro Tem, to 10 a.m.?
When it's cold outside.
10 p.m., pardon me.
Yes, sir. I would just say, make it 10 p.m., Honorable Mayor. I mean, when it's cold outside, you know.
So 10 p.m. Is there a second?
Support.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Seats, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes, I had about that.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next resolution is adopt a resolution approving the appointment to Downtown Development Authority, Mr. Roger Lane, who did go through the process to apply. The property owner, a resident of Benton Harbor, business owner, being a longtime resident of the city of Benton Harbor, business owner in the city, is passionate for growth and success, which was one of the stated reasons he would like to be appointed. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. It is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Discussion. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Well, I guess I'll be the one, since everybody else kind of nervous, I guess. I mean, if you sued the city, there's no stipulation to say you can't serve on any board, or? That's a question. That is a question, isn't it?
Yeah. The Downtown Development Authority is an affiliate board. It's a volunteer position. Mr. Lane is a business owner and resident, which is the only requirement to serve on this board. So I don't know of any other barriers or stipulations that would prevent him volunteering to serve, unless the city attorney.
I don't know of any. There are none.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
No.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The last resolution, adopt a resolution approving the moratorium on billboard signs, advertisement signs, and off-premise signs. The resolution reads as follows. Whereas the city of Benton Harbor regulates signs through the city of Benton Harbor zoning ordinance for the purpose of protecting the health, safety, and general welfare of the city and its residents by establishing standards for the design, construction, size, location, and maintenance of all signs and sign structures within the city. Whereas the city of Benton Harbor, due to the visual blight, traffic concerns, and other health, safety, and welfare issues that have emerged with unregulated and regulated off-premises advertising signs / billboards or similar structures, and certain on-premises signs located within the city. Whereas the city of Benton Harbor intends to conduct a review of its various sign ordinances to ensure the furtherance of the city's master plan and to address the city's concerns of visual blight, traffic, health, safety, and welfare issues that have emerged with regulated and unregulated off-premises advertising signs / billboards or similar structures and certain on-premises signs. And whereas the Benton Harbor City Commission finds that there is a need to enact a temporary moratorium on the issuance of permits for both new off-premises advertising signs / billboards or similar structures and on-premises signs. Whereas Benton Harbor City Commission finds that this temporary moratorium is necessary for the preservation of the public safety and general city welfare. Whereas the City Commission's failure to enact this temporary moratorium will likely result in irreparable harm to the welfare of the city of Benton Harbor, its residents, and their property rights that likely can be undone. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Benton Harbor City Commission directs the city manager and the city staff to not accept or process after September 16, 2019, and throughout the duration of the term of this moratorium and any extensions thereto, any new application or request for site plan development review for any off-premises advertising signs / billboard or similar structure, including but not limited to ground signs, pole signs, and or wall signs, or any on-premises signs. Be it further resolved that the Benton Harbor City Commission directs in the meantime that the city manager and city staff shall continue to enforce the city's current sign regulations in conformity with the intent of its zoning ordinance, master plan, and the United States Constitution. Is there a motion to adopt?
Make a motion to adopt.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Isom. Discussion. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Moratorium literally means suspension or stopping what's to come in the future. We got a sign, there's a big sign up down there that we were supposed to have removed, and this building owner has never taken it down. Neither did they ask for a permit to do it. It was only supposed to be up there for 1 or 2 days, and it's been up for probably about a month now, right down the old sheets. And nobody knows what it is or why it was erected, and we were told it was going to be taken down a couple months back. I know the city manager prior, Mr. Watson, had spoke to the business owner about taking it down, but there was no permit that was gathered. So moratorium literally means moving forward, but we do need to do some cleaning up going back to get that, whatever it is down, it looks like skull or something, but it needs to be removed ASAP because they came to the Planning Economic Development Committee meeting and proposed to put some light up signs downtown. We voted them all down for signs on buildings, for billboards, but they erected it anyway because for some reason the Arts District feels they can do whatever they want to do. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
I guess my question would be, should we also have something within this document of murals?
I do want to go to the city attorney. Could you,
Yes, I can, I think, address some of the questions here. There is one last section on page 2 that stated that this is a temporary moratorium, and it's for a 6-month period. And what this is geared to is a temporary moratorium on all new signs, billboards, mainly for advertisement purposes, not necessarily for murals. And it does say that the city still is to continue to enforce the city's current plan pending the review of the city's current sign ordinance or ordinances to better regulate billboards, things like the big, lighted advertisements that we see now in the city and elsewhere on 94. Again, it's a 6-month moratorium that allows for the potential to extend it another couple of months. Generally, these things can only be in effect for maximum 12 months because we have freedom of speech, commercial speech issues, and we have companies like Adams and Lamar who are always looking to bring in the new and biggest and brightest signs. So we want to make sure that the city's ordinance covers everything, or as much as we can, so that the city continues to have some control as to what comes in and what does not.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Well, Mayor, how would this affect something that I found myself tackling about 8 years ago when it comes to the tobacco signs, the beer and liquor signs? How does that, because we have too many for one in our 4 square miles of a Black predominantly community, and I think that we need to work on elimination because they're sending out the wrong subliminal messages and have for too long, and if somebody needs to do something, and it might as well be us.
Amen.
Well, this is a moratorium on all advertising signs to allow the city to, and the planning commission to create a new or updated zoning ordinance. But I think as far as the state act is concerned, billboards advertising cigarettes are now illegal. I think they're not on those billboards that are regulated by the Michigan Highway Advertising Act. Like signs as it relates to advertising on like grocery store, those are on-premise signs. And so, and there's a limitation for anything larger than 50 square feet. So so we can cover all of those issues.
Mayor, can we take a look at that? Because I was told by a gentleman that I asked one of his businesses, I think that Budweiser actually pay them or they pay them for their advertisement. But we need to be taxed.
I'll defer to the city manager to take a closer look. His office is well capable.
We will do so.
And again, I'm fairly certain that Michigan's Highway Advertising Act prohibits billboards or advertisements, off-premise advertisements with those syntax stuff, beer and alcohol, and now I think medical marijuana. I'll double check.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Was there a court ruling on this case?
No, but if you look at the agenda, that's coming up. We've got on the agenda the item.
Closed session item.
Okay, thank you.
For an update.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to staff comments and reports. like to yield to the Deputy Director of Public Safety, Deputy Clerk.
We have nothing for tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Chair recognizes our City Assessor, Assessor Story.
No comment tonight. Thank you.
Chair recognizes our City Attorney, Attorney Rack.
I think I have an answer to Commissioner Adams' question as it relates to the fire escrow. When there's a fire within the city, and there's insurance, coverage, the insurance company pays to the city, a certain amount, a percentage to ensure that the home is properly cleaned up or torn down. And when that happens, the city then writes the check back to the property owner once that's been done. Because if not, then the city will be required to pick up that expense. But if the homeowner is taking care of that, then, so it's to ensure that the property is safe and cleaned up. But once that the homeowner has done that, then the city then gives the money back because it's already been taken care of.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
I guess that question came up because there was an incident where the homeowner didn't have insurance.
Right.
And we paid.
Chair recognizes, are you finished?
I am, yes.
Chair recognizes our City Clerk.
A registration notice to the qualified electors of the city of Benton Harbor. Please take notice that a general election will be held in the city of Benton Harbor within the county of Berrien, state of Michigan on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, for the purpose of electing candidates for the following office. Mayor, 1 4-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. Commissioner at large, 2 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023. First Ward Commissioner, 1 4-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. And a Second Ward Commissioner, 1 4-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. Please take notice that any qualified elector of the city of Benton Harbor who is not already registered may register at the office of the city clerk, the office of the county clerk, a Secretary of State branch office, or any other designated state agency. Registration forms can be obtained at mi.gov/vote and mailed to the city clerk. Voters who are already registered may update their registration at expresssos.com. The last day to register in any manner other than in person with the local clerk is Monday, October 21st, 2019. After this date, anyone who qualifies as an elector may register to vote in person with proof of residency at the city clerk's office located here, 200 East Wall Street, Benton Harbor, at the following times. Regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Saturday, November 2nd, 2019, 8:30 to 5. Election day, November 5th, 2019, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Absentee ballots are available for all elections. Registered voters may contact the local clerk to obtain an application for an absentee ballot. The city of Benton Harbor currently has vacancies on the following boards. 1 vacancy for Benton Harbor St. Joseph Joint Board of Commissioners for the wastewater treatment plant. 1 vacancy for Board of Review. 2 vacancies for Cemetery Board. 2 vacancies for Compensation Commission. 4 vacancies for Construction Board of Appeals. 3 vacancies of Downtown Development Authority. 1 vacancy for Housing Commission. 3 vacancies for the Income Tax Appeal Board. Please contact the city clerk's office for additional information.
Thank you. Chair recognizes our City Manager Mitchell.
Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to report.
Chair recognizes 4th Ward Commissioner Harrelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mayor, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, seeing the government in action tonight. It certainly was a welcome for the young lady that was here tonight to do presentation. That was something I wish the whole
young people from the high school should have been here to see something like that, to encourage them. And also, Ms. Kennard, I always look forward to hearing something good coming from you. I'd like to welcome a young man that moved here from Chicago. I'd like to welcome him to our city. That's it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
I just want to thank the citizens for coming out and seeing your government in action. And request that all citizens come out for a Wednesday night committee meeting. Those are the nights that we have an opportunity to dialogue and have a conversation with the residents. So you have a great input into what's going to happen in this new day for Benton Harbor now. And so we really need your input to make things happen for you. Thank you. Wednesday at 5:30.
Chair recognizes our Second Ward Commissioner Jones.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to welcome Mr. Boone. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Lane. I'm sure you're gonna have great input into that DDA. Also, I'd like to recognize, is Ms. Caldwell, you said? Hardy. I remember this young lady some years ago after I moved back here in the area, and I happened to be visiting a certain area that I grew up in. And I like to always recognize those strong women, particularly the mothers, that really was putting in work for their children. And I remember her doing hair and doing a lot of other things around there, looking out for other people's family as well as her own, and a great deal of the time neglecting herself because of her love for everybody else. So I'm very proud to see that your little one has made it. And she was probably like this when I was around. I'd also like to recognize the lady with many names. I grew up with her. We went to grade school together, and it was a time that a lot of us was promised once we graduated high school, we'd go to Europe. That didn't happen. We lost a lot of friends through moving and lost track of everybody, but I was one of the few that happened to make it to Europe. And it's a beautiful thing that some of our dreams could stand to our children. And I wish she was here, so I could say a few encouraging words as far as, the pressure, representing and being so young and all the things that accumulate at the time. Use it as confidence. But the biggest thing about that trip is the education that you'll receive, not so much from the fashion, but our history. Not she making history. She can share that with her children, with you and everybody else in the family. And also extend to her that her uncle was one of my best friends, and he kept me grounded when I was overseas. Her grandfather, one of the many heroes around here that kept both of us grounded to a certain degree. And he was one of the main ones that was encouraging us to come down here to be involved. And during that time, also, I want us to look at the art that was discussed earlier. We got to pay attention about censorship and whatnot. And the commissioner made a good point as far as giving some history, but usually the artist is on hand to give that history. But there are people that are offended by certain pieces. There have been naked paintings of people of all colors in a museum. And it's easy to say to people not to come in there if they're gonna feel offended or whatnot. But a lot of those pieces are expressive of our everyday lives. We don't boycott a lot of movies. We don't boycott a lot of videos that come to our phones. We don't boycott a lot of advertisements with suggestive remarks like that. But I do suggest if and when they come to have a certain section, maybe curtail, so they could view that if they want to. But if they don't, it'd be already kind of covered up. Also, many months ago, I had an issue with an ordinance change as far as I was headed, and I'm appreciative of the individual whoever crafted that, the proper way of editing a document, and suggestion amendments and whatnot. I really appreciate that. And for a group that didn't understand what I was talking about at the time, and dealing with this for X amount of years, we need to kick it in gear and educate ourselves, especially us that's been in college and whatnot, experiencing journalism and communications and whatnot. I really appreciate the author that crafted this simple dates. So thank you.
Chair recognizes our first award, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. My heart is just so overjoyed on tonight with what we saw here, with the expressions, the talents that we see coming out of Benton Harbor. It's just so exciting. Just a way to celebrate the people in our community. I echo many of the sentiments of my colleagues on tonight and of what's been said, not to prolong anything. So thank everybody for coming out.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens also for coming out there, from the young man to the community. Hope to see more of you. I'd like to also recognize Mr. Lane for still wanting to be a service to the community. It's a volunteer position. Sometimes you get beat up for volunteering, but you don't let that deter you. Talking about your situation, you felt you was done a certain way and it was adjudicated in court, and we should just leave it at that. That's what the court's for. The parents, hats off to you for and the mentors, the young lady, those other type of things that definitely keep the community going and keep things positive every time you see that. It just give you that drive to keep on pushing. There's generations coming up behind us, and there is some hope, because from what I see, a lot of times the kids get the bad rap, this generation is lost, and this, got a chance to, over the weekend, go down one of the neighborhoods, in fact, over on Jefferson area over there. We see Ms. Kennard doing some of her famous landscaping work, and she got a little perturbed because there's some kids throwing trash and just, cutting up real good, and just decided to stop and talk to them, and some of the things they told me, and it's, so why did you do it? And it's, I've come to find out a lot of them was I kind of lost a little hope and pride. And when I talked to them and told them what was the meaning of that center and what they were trying to do, they understood, and you can see the gleam in their eye that they now want to take ownership, and also told them the significance of looking out for your neighborhood. Matter of fact, it was probably about 15, 16 young boys, and just building their self-esteem up. Because a lot of times they get beat up real good, and so they start acting like that, And after just talking to them and encouraging them and cheering them on, I could hear them talking among themselves as I was walking off about looking out for their neighborhood. So if we can continue to spread those type of things, I think we'll have a better community. Thank colleagues for all their hard work, and staff. We're getting things done. It might not be happening fast as some people want them to happen, but they are happening. We're not at a standstill. We're seeing some progress. There's plenty more work to do, and we're in it for the long haul.
Thank you, Commissioner Singleton. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. First, I'd like to thank the residents and citizens coming out tonight. Welcome, Mr. Boone. Mr. Boone, right?
Yes.
Came at the right time. You get some smooth roads. Came at the right time. comments, Mr. Haywood, comments you always do, and Ms. Kennard, and the fashion designers and the model. You know, it brings in positive atmosphere. You felt it in here today. Somebody's ready to shout in here. You know, when you bring God into it, it's real. Ben Harbor is positive things coming out of Ben Harbor. You know, you expect, like I said, expect good things to happen in the city of Ben Harbor, and it's happening. They're gonna come through that door. I see it. It's happening. Expect good things to come to this city. You know, we got roads that's, you know, went down Levette. You know, I got a truck down. I went smooth down there. I want to hit it. But I said, don't hit it. It's 25. Speed limit is 25. So just cruise. You know, you can do that now. You don't gotta, you know, that's something. I was a part of that to make that happen. You know, we was part of that. It was a team effort. You know, from the tax committee to the Avenue March to the citizens input to the planning to all the meetings, you know, to bring that to the personnel and finance to get it to 80-20. You know, that's something to be a part of that and then to see it come happen. So it's good. This commission is good. You know, things are happening in Ben Harbor. You know, we got models, we got basketball players, we got former basketball players. We still got a little bit in, but we got some good positive things happening in Ben Harbor. Expect good things. And don't forget to visit your public library. God bless you. God bless Ben Harbor.
Thank you, Commissioner Ice. The chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
I want to thank the residents for taking time out of your busy schedules, coming to find out what's going on in your community and how things are affecting you. I want to welcome Mr. Boone back home. Thank you, sir, for your willingness to get involved. Ms. Kennard, just appreciate you, lovely lady. You do so much. I don't know where you get the energy from, but I thank God for you. We got an update on election day. I called over to county clerk. I thought that, well, I remember the young lady telling me that we had, prior to 14 days before election, as long as you have valid ID, you can, but I thought we had same day voting. I'm going to double check on that because I think that you can vote the same day as long as you have valid ID at the poll. And we need to let the residents know that same day voting. That's a win-win. I'm just so ecstatic being a licensed professional cosmetologist in my field of fashion, the fashion world. I'm just so excited. If I had about 20 years on me, I'd probably be around there, getting ready to take flight with you. But, you know, I have this wonderful, awesome niece that's just doing some great things. She's from Benton Harbor, and I've had so many opportunities to go to Paris, Africa. I'm too busy in my community. It's not about what I want to do. There's a need, but any connections that I have, I try to pay them forward. I try to connect people, even on social media. I've met so many young women from all over the world. I mean, at some of the classes that I attend, they come all the way to Chicago, all the way to Detroit, from across the water. I mean, beautiful women, and some guys. They're really into this wig making thing. And when they're over in Paris, I really hate that I missed that trip. But there's another one coming up. You just might see you there. We started off with church. I want to thank Lane. And I'm going to always probably call you Officer Lane because it's habit. And not only that, it's an authoritative, it's something about authority, holding that position and looking up to you. And that's something that I wish that the world would take more into consideration when we look at each other and address each other as father, as a pastor, if that's what they appear to be. My sisters, my brothers, you know, and instead of looking at each other's other stuff, but respecting one another. I wish and I just pray that there would come a day when we could live in peace peace and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and thank you for that, Commissioner. Always touching when we talk. I want to thank the city residents for being here and to everybody who played a part in this meeting. Part of democracy is having the ability to vote the way you want to vote. There's no beat down for the way you vote. There's a lot of times we voted differently in this commission. That's part of democracy. We voted for some stuff that I never thought we would ever vote for, but it was part of democracy. Nothing's personal when it comes to your vote. As long as you feel in your heart you're doing what's best for the city residents. So, in saying that, I make no apologies for any time I vote, because I vote with a clear conscience. There's sometimes we voted on this board, and as the Honorable Mayor suggested on the radio, that 90% of the time we voted together. It's been a unanimous vote. 90% of the time we've all voted together. Those roads that are getting fixed now did not come by one person. It came by this body of the electorate who voted for it. And we cannot even suggest now that Darwin Watson didn't even play a part of it. Because Darwin Watson had a lot to do with what happened with these roads getting fixed. I cannot even say that our city manager now has not played a part, because he's playing a part right now. It takes everybody to make a city go. And I want to appreciate this young man who's with the model too, because nobody said nothing about that brother who came tonight, even in support. God bless you, man. Because it takes you also, the men of our community, to push these young ladies forward and let them know they got somebody who got their back. Not just a female, but a male. And then when you start taking the males out of the roles, then we start having other problems. So I commend you for even being here in that support, because a lot of times we give the women all the credit, and sometimes you got brothers who are here doing some stuff too. I was blessed yesterday, and I'm done, by Mother Martha Nichols, who was state supervisor of the Western Michigan jurisdiction, who gave me a direct history lesson on my upbringing and on the mayor's upbringing. Suggested some things I did not even know. That our grandmothers walked hand in hand down to Wajak Street to help build a church and get the pews in the church, and they didn't have no money, but they suggested that God told the man to build the church, so they agreed with what he said, and they only had $10 left after they paid the man for what he had delivered to the church. She also suggested that at that time, we didn't have all this segregation amongst the church. Everybody rallied for the common cause because we didn't have that much, but the little we had, we all put together. And I would suggest that today, that the little we still have, if it's to help one of these young ladies to get out of Benton Harbor, help one of these young men to get out of Benton Harbor, let's put it together and make our future better for somebody else. Because you did not make it, don't mean you can't help somebody else make it. Thank you tonight for coming. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Seats. I would like to, my brother, who are you? How is your relation? If you
Right.
Bob.
You have the floor.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Alan Coates. I'm Alicia's dad. I'm just proud of my daughter. That's right. I've traveled overseas. I'm a veteran, so I I know what it's like, but I'm ready for her to venture off and pursue her dream. You know, I'm proud of all of it. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, for bringing that oversight to. And thank you, my brother, because we need more fathers to support in our community. We do have a lot of good things happening in the city of Benton Harbor. I received a letter from the state treasury. It says, "Dear Mayor Marcus Muhammad, this letter is to advise you that the official order to certify and return the 2018 assessment roll to the city of Benton Harbor, Benton County, will be considered by the State Tax Commission at their meeting on October 14, 2019. The agenda for the October 14, 2019 meeting will be made available 1 week prior to the meeting on the State Tax Commission's website at www.michigan.gov State Tax Commission. Sincerely, David A. Buick, Executive Director, State Tax Commission." So that's a accomplishment. Hopefully we will be certified. We did receive a, I don't know, the perfect score, but the highest ranking that we could have received as it relates to the work done cleaning up our assessment roll. So I'd like to commend Mr. Story and your office for that work. I'd like to also recognize the city manager and staff working with the contractors. Abbott Marsh, the contract city engineer. So far, Superior, it will be done. Levette has been done. Hannah Court has been done. Salem has been done. Broadway has been done. One resident on Levette said she was happy to see the streets paved before she died. Another resident on Hannah Court, Bishop Atterbury, did say I could say his name. He said that he's been living there as a homeowner, has paid years of taxes, and he said that no work had ever been done on Hannah Court. In fact, he said his wife told him, "Now we don't have to move." And there's many, many, many more stories that residents have shared, but I do echo the comments and sentiments that my council colleagues have stated, that it's a team effort. No big I's, little U's. It was the residents who voted. It was the staff who did the behind the scenes work. And now we finally see. One resident told me, "I was mad to see that money coming out of my check." He said, "I'm glad that I see these streets fixed." So, you know, it's a joy for the city. There's a lot of great things happening and taking place. Would like to commend the young ladies who were part of our agenda tonight. Travel safe. We're excited and we look forward to seeing and hearing great things coming from you. The Lieutenant Governor, Gilchrist, was in town today. He met with our city manager, Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Singleton, myself, along with other community leaders under the Thriving Cities tour, where the Lieutenant Governor and staff will be going to 17 different cities throughout the state of Michigan to hear from residents and leaders on how, from a big picture standpoint, policy standpoint, the governor's office can work with urban districts and areas moving forward. So it was a very successful and productive meeting. and you can speak directly with those persons who were there. So thank you again, and we do have a closed session. The stated reason is litigation update. Is there a motion to go into recess?
So motion. Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Adams.
Mr. Mayor, just to be compliant with the statute and some local or some new case law, we should at least state the case that we're being discussed. So that's this Adams Outdoor Advertising versus the City of Benton Harbor, both the appeal from the Zoning Board of Appeals and the accompanying circuit court case.
Duly noted, Madam Clerk. Like to entertain to go into recess.
Yeah, I'm dead.
We're back to high school.
I don't know. What are you doing? My guess is that.
Mr. Boone.
Yes, ma'am.